One second, you feel safe. And then,
The police are on their way.
well, you still do.
The email hit my inbox at 2:45 in the afternoon on Monday, just as I was debugging a client's firewall. I'm keeping the apartment. You can crash with your parents. Please respect my space. No greeting, no explanation. Just Jenna, my wife of 8 years, telling me I was homeless. I read it 3 times, each pass stripping away another layer of the life I thought I had. The cursor blinked on my screen. Waiting. My hands didn't shake. That surprised me. Instead, something cold and precise clicked into place behind my ribs. Respect her space. Cute. I owned the locks. My name was Cole Mercer, and I'd spent 16 years learning how systems worked. Computer systems, security systems, financial systems. People were just another kind of system, and Jenna had just made a critical error. She forgot who held the root access. I picked up my phone and called Uncle Ray. "Cole," he answered, his voice rough from 30 years of cigarettes. "What's going on?" "Jenna's trying to keep the apartment," I said. "The one you own. The one we've been renting from you for 3 years." Silence. Then a low chuckle. "She knows your name's on the lease too, right?" "Apparently not. Want me to remind her?" "Not yet," I said. "Let her think she won this round. I need time to figure out what game we're actually playing." Uncle Ray had been a cop before he retired into real estate. He understood strategy. "You got it. But Cole, if she's pulling this kind of thing, you might want to start documenting everything." "Already started." I hung up and opened my personal drive. The folder was labeled Network Backup 2025. Boring, invisible. Inside were 3 months of screenshots, bank statements, credit card receipts, and text message logs. Nothing illegal. Everything I'd noticed when my wife stopped being my wife and became something else. It started small. Late-night texts she'd angle her phone away from. New lingerie that never made it to our bedroom. A sudden interest in networking events that required overnight stays in Manhattan. Jenna Whitmore had been ambitious when I met her. That's what I'd loved, her drive, her sharp mind, her refusal to settle. But somewhere in year 6, ambition curdled into something meaner. She started looking at our suburban Boston life like it was a cage. Started looking at me like I was the lock. I should have seen it coming. Last month, I'd checked our joint account to pay the mortgage. $15,000 was missing. When I asked, Jenna said she'd transferred it to savings. When I checked savings, it wasn't there either. "Business investment," she'd said, not looking up from her phone. "I'll explain later." She never did. I pulled up our credit card statements, hotel charges, flights to New York, restaurant bills for 2 at places we'd never been together. A pattern emerged like a photograph developing in chemicals. Every 3rd Thursday, every other weekend, always the same locations. The networking events. I opened a new browser window and pulled up the conference schedule for her industry. The dates didn't match, not even close. My phone buzzed. Tara's name lit the screen. "Hey," I answered. "I'm outside," Tara Lynn said. "Thought you might need coffee." Tara had been my best friend since we were 12, back when we'd built our first computer from salvaged parts in her garage. She'd gone into cybersecurity like me, but stayed corporate while I went freelance. She was the only person I'd told about the missing money. I met her at the door. She handed me a cup and studied my face. "You look calm. That's either very good or very bad." Jenna sent me an eviction notice. "Jesus. Your own apartment?" "Uncle Ray's apartment." She forgot that detail. Tara's expression shifted. She knew that look on my face. "What are you planning?" "Nothing illegal." "That's not an answer." I showed her the email. She read it, then scrolled through the folder on my laptop. Her jaw tightened. "Grant Bishop," she said, pointing at a name on a hotel receipt. "I know that name. Wasn't he her college boyfriend?" Everything stopped. I pulled up Facebook, typed the name. Grant Bishop's profile appeared. Confident smile, expensive suit, motivational quotes about success and authenticity. His relationship status said single. His location said New York City. His job title said brand consultant. I scrolled through his photos. There, tagged at a conference in Boston, the same weekend Jenna had gone to her networking event. Another photo at a restaurant I recognized from our credit card bill. "Hell's fire," I whispered. Tara leaned back. "Okay, so what's the play?" "I need to see them together. Confirm it." "Then what?" I looked at her. "Then I stop playing defense." Tuesday morning, I watched Jenna leave for work. She'd slept in the guest room, our guest room, in our apartment, owned by my uncle. She didn't say goodbye. She barely looked at me. I gave her a 10-minute head start, then followed. Her office was in Cambridge, a sleek tech startup that sold vaporware to venture capitalists. I parked across the street and waited. At 11:30, she emerged with her laptop bag and headed toward the coffee shop 2 blocks down. She wasn't alone. Grant Bishop walked beside her, close, but not touching. They chose a corner table. From my car, I couldn't hear them, but I could see everything. The way she leaned in, the way he touched her hand, the way they both laughed like the world was theirs. I took photos. Not because I needed proof anymore, I had plenty, but because I wanted to remember this moment. The moment I stopped being the husband and became the hunter. They stayed for 40 minutes. When they left, Grant kissed her cheek. Casual, familiar, like they'd done it 1,000 times. I followed Grant after Jenna returned to work. He drove a BMW with New York plates and a scratch along the passenger door. He parked in a garage near Boston Common and disappeared into a co-working space. I sat in my car and made a list. Grant Bishop, 37, brand consultant, overconfident, careless enough to meet Jenna in public, in her city, where anyone could see them. That meant he thought he was safe. That meant he was stupid. I could work with stupid. My phone buzzed. A text from Jenna. "Working late tonight, don't wait up." I texted back. "No problem." Then I called Uncle Ray again. "I need to know when the lease is up," I said. "November 1st, 3 weeks." "Don't renew it. I'll be out by then." "And Jenna?" "She'll figure it out." Wednesday, I did something I hadn't done in months. I went to Jenna's office. She worked on the 3rd floor, open concept space with glass walls and overpriced coffee. I hadn't visited since her company holiday party last December, back when I still thought we were okay. The receptionist smiled. "Cole, long time. You here for Jenna?" Thought I'd surprise her with lunch. "She's in a meeting, but you can wait." I sat in the lobby and watched. Through the glass walls, I could see Jenna at a conference table presenting to a group of investors. She was magnetic, gesturing, smiling, commanding the room. This was the woman I'd fallen for. But I also noticed the other things. How she touched the shoulder of the guy next to her. How she laughed at the right moments, calculated and precise. How every movement was designed to manipulate. She'd been doing this to me for years. I just hadn't noticed. The meeting ended. Jenna emerged, saw me, and her face went blank for half a second before the smile snapped into place. "Cole, what are you doing here?" "Lunch?" I held up a bag from her favorite place. She glanced at her phone. "I can't. Back-to-back meetings." "You sure? I brought that sandwich you like." A co-worker walked past, slowed. "Hi," she said to me. "I'm Beth. You're Cole, right? Jenna's husband?" Jenna's jaw tightened. "That's me," I said. Beth smiled. "She talks about you all the time. You do cybersecurity, right? That's so cool," Jenna cut in. "Beth, I need those reports by 3. "Oh, right." Beth looked between us, sensing the tension, then hurried off. Jenna turned to me. "I said I'm busy." "Got it." I handed her the bag anyway. Just wanted to do something nice. She took it without meeting my eyes. Thanks. I'll call you later. She didn't. That night, I checked our bank accounts again. Another $5,000 was missing. This time I traced it. A wire transfer to a boutique travel agency that specialized in luxury getaways. I called them, pretending to be following up on my wife's booking. "Oh yes," the agent said. "The Hamptons rental for this weekend. Beautiful property. Your wife has excellent taste." "She does," I agreed. "Can you remind me of the dates?" "Check-in Saturday, check-out Monday. We're so excited for you both." I thanked her and hung up. Saturday. 3 days from now. I opened my laptop and started building a new plan. Financial pressure first. Freeze the accounts, cut off her access, make her scramble. Then surveillance, track the trip, document everything, build a case. Finally, the confrontation. Not violence. That was for amateurs. Violence was quick and messy, and it put you in jail. No, I wanted something better. I wanted Jenna and Grant to feel the walls close in slowly, to realize they were trapped, to understand that every move they made was exactly what I'd predicted. I wanted them to know I'd won before they even started fighting back. Tara called at midnight. "I pulled Grant's financials," she said. "Not legally, so don't ask how. His consulting business is a joke. 2 clients, both overdue on payments. He's leveraged up to his eyeballs. BMW's leased, apartments sublet, credit cards are maxed. So he's broke. And desperate. Which means he's probably using Jenna. Or they're using each other." I thought about the missing money. She's funding their little fantasy. With your money. Not for long. I hung up and opened my banking app. With 3 clicks, I froze our joint account. Jenna's access vanished. Then I transferred my half into a new account under my name alone. By morning, she'd be financially stranded, and that was just the beginning. Thursday morning, Jenna discovered the frozen accounts at a Whole Foods checkout. I wasn't there, but I knew exactly when it happened because my phone logged her 7 frantic calls at 9:14 a.m. I didn't answer. Instead, I sat in my home office and listened to her voicemails pile up. "Cole, what the hell did you do? This isn't funny. Call me back. You can't just freeze our accounts." "Cole," I texted back at 9:47, "noticed some irregular activity. Bank suggested we freeze everything until it's resolved. Should be cleared up in a few days." 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Finally. "You're an asshole." I smiled. "Probably. But I'm an asshole with money." She didn't respond. I spent the rest of Thursday making arrangements. First, I called a lawyer, one of Uncle Ray's friends who specialized in fast divorces. We scheduled an appointment for Friday. Then I called a storage unit and rented space for my stuff. Finally, I started packing. Not everything. Just the things that mattered. My computers, my files, my grandfather's watch. I left Jenna's stuff untouched. I wanted her to think I was retreating, giving up, going quietly. Let her think that. Around noon, Tara texted, "Grant's car, you want in?" I called her. "What do you mean?" "I'm in his parking garage right now. 3rd level, spot 47. BMW's here. Looks pretty with that scratch." "Don't do anything stupid." "Too late. I brought a key." "Tara, relax. Just a little cosmetic work. Nothing he can prove." I heard scraping sounds through the phone. Metal on metal. "You're insane," I said. "You're welcome. See you tonight." She hung up. I sat there, phone in hand, feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Lightness, like gravity had lost its grip. Tara was right. This was insane. But it was also necessary. Grant thought he could take my wife, my money, my life, and walk away clean. He was about to learn otherwise. Friday morning, I met with the lawyer. His name was Paul Hendricks, 60 years old, 3 failed marriages, 0 illusions about love. "How long you been married?" he asked. 8 years. "Kids?" "No." "Property?" "Everything's separate or rented. The apartment's my uncle's." Paul leaned back. This should be clean. Massachusetts is equitable distribution, but if you can prove she drained marital assets for an affair, you'll get more than half. You got proof? I opened my laptop and showed him everything. The bank transfers, the hotel receipts, the photos from the coffee shop. Paul whistled. She's not even trying to hide it. She thought she was smarter than me. Women always do. He grinned. All right, I'll file Monday. She'll be served Tuesday. Once that happens, everything freezes automatically. Accounts, property, the works. She won't be able to touch anything without court approval. Perfect. You seem calm about this. I've had time to process. That was a lie. I wasn't calm. I was a bomb with a timer, counting down to 0. But Paul didn't need to know that. I left his office and drove to a tech store in Watertown. I bought 3 items: a GPS tracker, a portable Wi-Fi analyzer, and a white noise generator. Then I went home and packed them carefully into a backpack. Tomorrow was Saturday. Tomorrow, Jenna and Grant were leaving for the Hamptons, and tomorrow, I was going to make sure their romantic getaway became a nightmare. Saturday, 6 a.m. I parked across from Jenna's office building and waited. She'd been staying with her sister since Thursday, avoiding me, avoiding the apartment, avoiding reality. But I knew her routine. She'd come here first to grab her laptop before heading to meet Grant. At 6:47, her Prius pulled into the lot. She looked tired, stressed, exactly how I wanted her. I gave her 15 minutes, then followed her inside using my old guest badge. The building was empty on weekends. I took the stairs to the 3rd floor and found her office. Through the glass, I watched her pack: laptop, files, a change of clothes. She was on the phone, pacing. Doesn't matter, we'll figure it out, she was saying. I've got my credit card, we're fine. Grant's voice was faint through the speaker. Are you sure he doesn't suspect? Cole's clueless. Trust me. What about the money? He froze the joint account, but it's temporary. My lawyer says I can fight it. Jenna, I'm maxed out. If your funds don't come through, they will. Stop panicking. She hung up, stood there for a moment, hand pressed to her forehead. For a second, I almost felt bad. Almost. Then I remembered the email, remembered being erased from my own life, remembered every lie. I left before she saw me. Grant lived in a sublet in Lower Manhattan, a 5th-floor walk-up in a building that smelled like old cooking oil and regret. I'd gotten his address from Tara, who'd gotten it from sources I didn't ask about. I arrived at 9:12 a.m. His BMW was parked on the street, sporting 3 fresh scratches on the driver's side to match the original on the passenger door. Tara's handiwork, I assumed. At 9:30, Grant emerged carrying a leather duffel bag. He looked exactly like his photos. Tall, clean-cut, expensive watch, confident walk. The kind of guy who thought his charm was a superpower. He loaded the bag into his trunk, then spent 5 minutes walking around the car, examining the new scratches. His face went red. He pulled out his phone and made a call. I couldn't hear it, but I knew what he was saying. Vandalism. Police report. Insurance claim. Good luck with that, Grant. He gave up after 10 minutes and drove off. I followed at a distance, tracking his route toward the Hamptons. Traffic was heavy. Saturday morning exodus from the city. I stayed 3 cars back, patient. At a rest stop near exit 70, Grant pulled in. I watched him go inside, then I got out and approached his BMW. The GPS tracker was smaller than a deck of cards. I crouched behind his car, popped the magnetic case open, and stuck it under the rear bumper. 15 seconds, start to finish. Back in my car, I pulled out my phone and opened the tracking app. A blue dot appeared on the map, Grant's BMW, pinging every 30 seconds. Perfect. The Hamptons rental was a beach house in Southampton. 3 bedrooms, private deck, 2-week minimum that Jenna had somehow negotiated down to 3 nights, probably by flirting with the owner. That was her move: smile, laugh, make them think they were special. I'd called the rental company yesterday pretending to be Grant, and asked about check-in procedures. Just use the lockbox code, the agent had said. 4782, it's on the side gate. And checkout's Monday at noon? Yes, sir. Enjoy your stay. Now I sat in my car 2 blocks from the house and watched the blue dot on my phone creep closer. 2:15 p.m. They'd be here soon. Tara called. You in position? Yeah. This is crazy. You know that? You're the one who scratched his car. I'm also the one who set up the fake reservation. I sat up. What fake reservation? The hotel in Manhattan, she said. For tonight, reservation under Grant Bishop, confirmation sent to his email an hour ago. Says his Hamptons rental fell through due to plumbing emergency, and he's been upgraded to a luxury suite in Midtown, all expenses paid. I laughed. Actually laughed. He's going to flip out. That's the idea. Oh, and I anonymously emailed his 2 clients about some concerns regarding his business practices. Nothing specific, just enough to make them nervous. You're terrifying. I know. Listen, if you're doing this, really doing this, you need to be smart. No confrontations, no violence, nothing that leaves evidence. I know. Do you? Because you sound like you're enjoying this. I watched the blue dot turn onto the street. I'll call you later. Grant's BMW pulled up to the beach house. Jenna got out first, stretching, smiling. Grant followed, pulling out luggage. They looked happy, relaxed, like they'd gotten away with something. They had no idea. I watched them try the lockbox, watched Grant's confusion when the code didn't work, watched Jenna pull out her phone and call the rental company. The argument started small, just raised voices, then escalated. Grant was pacing. Jenna was pointing at her phone. After 20 minutes, they got back in the car and drove off. I followed. They ended up at a Days Inn off the highway, the kind of place where the pool's been drained since 2019 and the free breakfast is stale bagels. I watched them check in, watched Grant's shoulders slump with defeat. This wasn't the romantic weekend Jenna had planned. This was a downgrade, a crack in the fantasy, and I was just getting started. Sunday morning, I was waiting in the Days Inn parking lot when Grant emerged alone at 8:30 a.m. He looked rough, wrinkled shirt, unshaven, the gloss of confidence worn down to dull frustration. He drove to a Starbucks 3 miles away. I followed, parked 2 spaces down, and watched him go inside. This was the moment. No plan, just instinct. I got out and walked in. Grant was at the counter, ordering something complicated. I stepped up beside him. Rough weekend? I said. He glanced over, didn't recognize me. You could say that. Hampton's rental fell through? Now he looked, really looked. How did you... I'm Cole Mercer, I said. Jenna's husband. His face drained. He took a step back. Relax, I said. I'm not here to fight. I just wanted to see the guy in person. The barista called his name. He grabbed his coffee with shaking hands. You need to leave, he said. Why? We're just talking. I'll call the police. And tell them what? That your married girlfriend's husband said hello? I smiled. I'm not threatening you, Grant. I'm just observing. Nice car, by the way. What happened to the paint? His jaw clenched. Stay away from me. You first. He turned and walked out fast. I let him go, stayed to order my own coffee. The barista looked uncomfortable. Ex-wife's boyfriend, I explained. Awkward. She nodded sympathetically. Outside, Grant was already in his BMW, engine running. He peeled out of the parking lot like I'd lit him on fire. I sipped my coffee and felt that lightness again. By noon, Grant and Jenna had checked out of the Days Inn. The GPS tracker showed them heading back to Boston, their weekend ruined. I drove home, made lunch, and waited. At 3:00 p.m., Jenna called. What did you do? She said. About what? Grant said you ambushed him at a coffee shop. Ambushed? I said hello. Cole, this is harassment. Is it? I thought I was just getting coffee. It's a public place. Silence. Then, You need to stop. Stop what? Existing? You're the one who sent me that email, remember? Respect my space? Well, here I am, respecting it from a distance. You froze our accounts. Bank policy during suspicious activity. Should be resolved soon. You're lying. Prove it. She hung up. I opened my laptop and checked Grant's email. Tara had acquired his password last week. There were 5 new messages, all from clients or professional contacts, all asking vague questions about his reliability. None mentioned specifics, just the kind of doubt that festers. I drafted an anonymous email to his biggest client. Concerned colleague here. Noticed some irregularities in Grant Bishop's recent work. Thought you should know before renewing his contract. Happy to discuss privately. I didn't send it yet. I wanted to wait. Let the tension build. Tara called at 5 hours. So, how was the coffee shop? Educational. You didn't hit him, did you? I said hello. Cole. I'm fine, he's fine. Everyone's fine. You don't sound fine. Because I'm not, but I'm close. She sighed. What's next? Monday, Jenna gets served with divorce papers. Tuesday, I move out. Wednesday, I start making Grant's professional life a nightmare. And then? Then I wait for them to break. Monday morning, Paul Hendricks filed the divorce. By noon, Jenna was served at her office. I wasn't there, but I imagined her face when the process server handed her the envelope. She called me 16 times that afternoon. I answered on the 17th. You filed for divorce, she said. No question, just flat statement. Yes. Without talking to me first? You sent me an eviction email. Seemed like talking was over. Cole, we can work this out. No, we can't. Just give me a chance to explain. Explain what? The hotels? The flights? Grant? Silence. Yeah, I said. I know about Grant, known for weeks. Her voice went cold. You've been spying on me. I've been paying attention. There's a difference. This is vindictive. This is self-preservation. The divorce is happening, Jenna. You can fight it and drag this out, or you can accept it and move on. I want half of everything. You already took half. The $15,000 from our joint account, the travel expenses, that's all documented. My lawyer's going to shred you. Damn it. I hung up. My hands were shaking. Not from anger, from adrenaline, from the thrill of finally fighting back. I'd spent 8 years being the supportive husband, the one who compromised, the one who bent. Not anymore. Wednesday morning, Grant lost his first client. I knew because I'd been monitoring his email. The message was short. After recent concerns brought to our attention, we've decided to terminate our contract effective immediately. We wish you the best. No specifics, no explanation, just a door closing. Grant replied within minutes. What concerns? Who contacted you? This is completely unfounded. No response. I sat in my new apartment, a studio in Somerville, cheap and temporary, and watched the panic unfold digitally. Grant sent 3 more emails, each more desperate. He called the client twice, left voicemails, nothing. By Thursday afternoon, he'd lost the second client too. Tara called. You're really doing this? He helped destroy my marriage. Seems fair. Fair and legal are different things. I haven't done anything illegal. I sent anonymous tips. People make their own decisions. Cole, I'm fine, Tara. Stop worrying. But I wasn't fine. I was obsessed. Every morning I woke up and checked Grant's email, his social media, his GPS location. Every night I added to my files, documenting everything. Jenna had gone silent. She'd hired her own lawyer, some shark from downtown who specialized in scorched earth divorces. Paul said she was demanding alimony, claiming I'd hidden assets, accusing me of financial abuse. She's desperate, Paul said, throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. Will it work? Not with your documentation, but it'll drag things out. I didn't care. Let it drag. I had time. Friday night, I did something reckless. I drove to Manhattan, parked near Grant's building, and waited. At 9:30 p.m., he emerged with Jenna. They were arguing. I could see it from half a block away. Jenna's arms were crossed. Grant was gesturing angrily. They stopped on the corner. Grant said something that made Jenna recoil. She slapped him, not hard, just a sharp crack that echoed down the street. Then she walked away. Grant stood there, hand on his face, looking small and defeated. I got out of my car and crossed the street. "Trouble in paradise?" I said. He spun around, saw me. His eyes went wide. "You," he said, "you're doing this." "Doing what?" "My clients, the emails, everything." "I don't know what you're talking about." "Bullshit." He stepped closer. "You're ruining my life." "No, Grant. You did that yourself when you slept with my wife." He swung at me. Sloppy. Telegraphed. The kind of punch that comes from anger instead of training. I stepped aside and he stumbled, catching himself on a parked car. "Feel better?" I asked. "I'll call the cops." "Go ahead. Tell them you tried to punch me because your business is failing. See how that goes." He straightened up, breathing hard. "She doesn't love you. She told me. She said you're boring, predictable, that you made her feel trapped." "And yet here you are," I said. "Broke, unemployed, getting slapped on street corners. Guess I'm not the only one who made her feel trapped." He lunged again. This time I didn't move. I just stood there as he grabbed my shirt, got in my face, his breath hot with desperation. "You need to let her go," he said. I did. "She's all yours." I pulled his hands off me. "Enjoy your prize." I walked back to my car, got in, and drove away. In the rearview mirror, Grant was still standing there watching me go. Saturday morning, I woke to a voicemail from Paul. "Cole, we've got a problem. Jenna's lawyer is claiming you threatened Grant Bishop. They've filed a restraining order hearing. Call me." I called. "What the hell happened?" Paul asked. "I ran into him on the street. We talked. He swung at me first." "Did anyone see this?" "I don't know." "Any cameras?" "Maybe. It was Manhattan." Paul sighed. "Okay. This is manageable, but you need to stop engaging with them. No more surprise encounters, no more following them around. Let the divorce play out legally." "Fine." "I'm serious, Cole. One more incident and you'll lose everything. The settlement, your reputation, maybe your freedom. Is that what you want?" "No." "Then be smart." I hung up and stared at the ceiling. He was right. I'd let it get personal, let the anger push me too far. The GPS tracker, the surveillance, the coffee shop, it had all been a game. But games had rules, and I'd started breaking them. Time to get back to strategy. Sunday, I deleted the tracking app and threw the GPS device in the Charles River. Then I called Tara. "I'm done," I said. "Done?" "With the revenge plot, with following them, with all of it." "What happened?" I told her about Manhattan, about Grant's swing, about the restraining order. "Jesus, Cole." "I know, I crossed a line. So what now?" "Now I let the divorce happen. I focus on my work. I move on." "You sure?" "No, but it's the right thing to do." She didn't sound convinced. Neither was I. But I meant it, or at least I wanted to. The restraining order hearing was set for Thursday. Paul prepped me for 3 hours, drilling me on what to say, how to say it, what not to say. "Stick to facts," he instructed. "Admit you encountered Grant, but emphasize he initiated physical contact. No emotion, no editorializing." "Got it." "And Cole? Dress nice. Look stable. Judges respond to optics." Thursday morning, I wore my best suit and showed up early. The courthouse was downtown Boston, gray stone building with metal detectors and tired security guards. I sat in the hallway outside the courtroom and waited. Jenna arrived at 9:15 with her lawyer, a woman named Patricia Vance, 50-something, expensive briefcase, the kind of face that never smiled. They sat on the opposite bench. Jenna wouldn't look at me. Grant arrived at 9:30 alone. He had a black eye, fresh, maybe 2 days old. Definitely not from me. Paul leaned over. Did you give him that? No. You sure? Paul, I didn't touch him. The bailiff called us in. The hearing lasted 20 minutes. Grant's lawyer presented their case. I'd harassed Grant at a coffee shop, followed him to Manhattan, threatened him on a public street. Grant testified, sounding rehearsed and scared. Then it was my turn. I encountered Mr. Bishop once at a Starbucks, I said. We had a brief conversation. I didn't threaten him. Later, I saw him arguing with my wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, on a Manhattan street. I approached to ask if everything was okay. He swung at me. I stepped away. That's it. The judge looked skeptical. You just happened to be in Manhattan at the same place they were? I was following my wife, Your Honor. Not illegally. We're married. We shared a GPS tracking system on our phones for safety. I was concerned about her well-being. That was a lie. We'd never had a GPS system, but it sounded reasonable. And the black eye? The judge asked, looking at Grant. Grant touched his face. From him. Saturday night. Your Honor, I said, I didn't touch Mr. Bishop. If he has an injury, it didn't come from me. The judge reviewed the file. There's no police report from Saturday. No witnesses came forward. Mr. Bishop, do you have evidence Mr. Mercer struck you? It happened fast. That's a no. The judge closed the folder. Request for restraining order denied. However, Mr. Mercer, I'm warning you to maintain appropriate distance from both parties during these proceedings. Am I clear? Yes, Your Honor. We filed out. In the hallway, Jenna finally looked at me. Her expression was pure venom. This isn't over, she said. Yeah, it is. Patricia Vance stepped between us. Mr. Mercer, any further contact with my client will result in harassment charges. Tell your client to stop using our marital assets to fund her affair, and we won't have any problems. Paul grabbed my arm. We're done here. He pulled me toward the exit. Behind us, I heard Jenna say something to Grant, her voice sharp. Grant's response was quieter, defeated. Outside, Paul turned on me. What the hell was that? What? Marital assets to fund her affair? You're supposed to stay calm. I am calm. No, you're angry, and anger makes you sloppy. He pointed back at the courthouse. You won today, but barely. That judge was one witness away from granting that order. You understand? One person saying they saw you do something and you'd be screwed. I get it. Do you? Because I'm not sure you do. He was right. I wasn't thinking clearly. Every interaction with Jenna and Grant pulled me back into the obsession, the need to win, to make them hurt the way I was hurting. I needed to stop, needed to walk away. But walking away felt like losing. Friday afternoon, my phone buzzed with an email notification. The sender was anonymous, the subject line empty. Inside was a single photograph. Grant and Jenna at a restaurant, taken 3 days ago. They were at a corner table, leaning close, wine glasses between them. But that wasn't the interesting part. The interesting part was the woman sitting 2 tables away, phone pointed at them. Her face was visible in the reflection of the window behind Grant. I zoomed in, recognized her. Beth, the co-worker from Jenna's office. I forwarded the photo to Tara with one question. Can you find out who sent this? She called back in 10 minutes. Email bounced through 3 proxy servers. Whoever sent it knows what they're doing. But Cole? This is bait. What do you mean? Someone wants you to do something stupid. They're giving you ammunition and hoping you'll fire it. Or maybe someone's trying to help. Why would Beth help you? Maybe she's tired of Jenna's act. Tara was quiet. Then, what are you going to do? I looked at the photo again. Jenna's hand was on Grant's arm. They looked comfortable, happy. Nothing, I said. I'm going to do nothing. Really? Really? I meant it this time. Saturday morning, I went for a run. 5 miles along the Charles River trying to clear my head. The divorce was moving forward. My business was stable. I had a new apartment, a new routine. Life was rebuilding itself, slowly. But the anger was still there, sitting in my chest like a stone. I finished the run and checked my phone. 3 missed calls from Uncle Ray. I called back. "Cole, we've got a situation," he said. "What kind of situation?" "Jenna's at the apartment, changing the locks." I stopped walking. "She can't do that." "I know she can't. That's why I called the cops. They're there now." I ran to my car. The apartment was 20 minutes away. I made it in 12. 2 police cruisers were parked outside, lights off. Uncle Ray was on the sidewalk, talking to an officer. Jenna was on the steps, arms crossed, flanked by Patricia Vance. I parked and got out. "Cole," Uncle Ray said, "tell them." The officer, young, maybe 30, tired eyes, looked at me. "You're the husband?" "Yes." "And this is your apartment?" "It's my uncle's. We rent from him. Both our names are on the lease." The officer turned to Jenna. "Ma'am, you can't change the locks without his consent." "He moved out," Jenna said. "He abandoned the property." "I moved to temporary housing during the divorce," I said. "All my stuff is still inside. I've been paying my half of rent on time." The officer looked to Uncle Ray. "That true?" "Both names on the lease. Both paying. She can't lock him out." Patricia Vance stepped forward. "Officer, there's an ongoing divorce proceeding. My client has legitimate safety concerns." "Then she should file for a restraining order," the officer said, "which she tried and got denied. Until the divorce is finalized or a judge says otherwise, both parties have equal right to the property." Jenna's face went red. "This is harassment." "Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to step aside." She didn't move. Patricia whispered something in her ear. Finally, Jenna walked down the steps and got into a car at the curb. Patricia followed. The officer turned to me and Uncle Ray. "You'll want to consider new locks yourselves. Legally speaking, she still has access." "Understood," I said. They left. Uncle Ray and I stood there in the aftermath. "She's losing it," he said. "Yeah." "You okay?" I looked at the apartment, the place Jenna and I had lived for 3 years, where we'd hosted dinners and fought and made up and slowly fallen apart. "I don't know," I said. Sunday night, I got a text from an unknown number. "You need to see something. Parking garage, 5th Ave, level 3, tonight." I stared at it. Obvious trap. Had to be. I texted Tara. "Did you send this?" "No. Don't go." But I was already getting my jacket. The parking garage was in downtown Boston, attached to a shopping complex. I parked on level 2 and took the stairs up. Level 3 was mostly empty, a few scattered cars, dim fluorescent lights, the smell of oil and concrete. Grant's BMW was in the far corner, driver's door open. I approached slowly. "Grant?" No response. I got closer. The car was empty, keys in the ignition, phone on the passenger seat, screen cracked. Then I saw the blood, just a smear on the doorframe, not much, but enough. "Shit," I whispered. I pulled out my phone to call 911, then stopped. This was a setup. Had to be. Someone wanted me here, wanted my prints on the scene, wanted me implicated in whatever this was. I backed away, careful not to touch anything. Turned to leave. Grant was standing at the stairwell entrance. We stared at each other. "You came," he said. His lip was split. Fresh blood. "What the hell is this?" "I needed to talk to you. Alone." "So you faked a crime scene?" "The blood's mine. I just needed you to come." "You're insane." "She's using me," Grant said. "Jenna, she's using both of us." I stopped moving toward the stairs. "Explain." He leaned against the wall, looking exhausted. "The money she took from your account? She told me it was for us, for our future. But she's been spending it on herself. Clothes, trips, investments. I asked her about it yesterday and she laughed. Said I was broke and desperate and lucky she was giving me attention." So leave her. I can't. She's got things on me, emails, texts, photos. If I leave, she'll ruin me worse than you already have. I didn't do anything. Bullshit. My clients dropped me the same week you found out about us. You think that's coincidence? Think what you want. He pushed off the wall. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just want out. And I figured if anyone understood being trapped by Jenna, it'd be you. I studied him. He looked genuine, broken and desperate, but genuine. What do you want from me? I asked. Help me disappear. You're good with tech, with covering tracks. Help me get away from her and I'll testify. I'll tell your lawyer everything, the affair, the money, all of it. You'll get your divorce fast and clean. And what do you get? A head start before she realizes I'm gone. It was tempting. God, it was tempting. Grant's testimony would end this mess immediately. No drawn-out court battle, no alimony fight, nothing. Just done. But it was also a trap. A different kind of trap. No, I said. What? No, figure out your own escape. I'm not helping you. But you made your choices, Grant. Deal with them. I walked past him to the stairs. He grabbed my arm. Please, he said. She'll destroy me. Probably, I pulled free. Should have thought about that before you slept with her. I left him there. Monday morning, Paul called with news. Jenna's dropping the alimony demand. I sat up. Why? Don't know, don't care. Her lawyer called this morning, said they're willing to settle quickly. 50-50 split of remaining assets, no spousal support, clean break. That doesn't make sense. Sometimes people just want out, Cole. Don't question it. But I couldn't help questioning it. Jenna never gave up, never compromised. Something had changed. I thought about Grant in the parking garage, about his desperation, about Jenna's pattern of using people until they broke. Accept the deal, I said. You sure? Yeah, I'm sure. We scheduled the final settlement for Wednesday. 2 more days and this would all be over. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt hollow. Tuesday night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Grant, about his split lip, about the fear in his eyes. He'd made his own mess. I knew that. But some part of me, the part that remembered being on the other end of Jenna's manipulation, felt something close to sympathy. At 2:00 a.m., I got up and opened my laptop. Pulled up Grant's email one last time. The inbox was chaos. Overdue bills, angry client messages, threats from creditors. He hadn't been lying about being broke. The most recent email was from Jenna, sent at 11:47 p.m. We need to talk. Tomorrow. Don't make this difficult. I closed the laptop. Not my problem. Not anymore. Wednesday morning, I arrived at Paul's office at 9:45. The settlement meeting was at 10 nows. Jenna would be there with Patricia. We'd sign papers, split assets, and walk away. Simple, clean, done. Except Jenna didn't show. At 10:15, Patricia Vance arrived alone. She looked flustered, unusual for her. Where's your client? Paul asked. I don't know, she's not answering her phone. We waited. 20 minutes, 30, nothing. At 10:45, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. Cole Mercer? A man's voice, official. Yes. This is Detective Santos with Boston PD. We need you to come to the station. My stomach dropped. Why? Just need to ask you some questions. It's regarding Jenna Whitmore. What about her? Sir, please come to the station, 154 Berkeley Street. He hung up. Paul was watching me. What was that? Police. They want to talk about Jenna. Don't go alone. I'm coming with you. The police station smelled like coffee and desperation. Detective Santos was 50-something, gray hair, suspicious eyes. He led us to an interview room. Where were you last night between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m.? He asked. Home, alone. Can anyone verify that? No. What's this about? Santos pulled out a photo. Recognize this man? Grant Bishop, crime scene photo. He was lying on pavement, Blood pooled around his head, eyes open and empty. I felt the room tilt. Is he dead? I asked. Found him this morning in a parking garage. Same garage you were seen at Sunday night. I left. He was alive. We have security footage of you there, talking to him, arguing. We talked. I left. That's it. Santos leaned forward. Mr. Mercer, your wife was having an affair with the victim. You've been following them, harassing them, interfering with his business. Now he's dead, and you were one of the last people to see him alive. I didn't kill him. Then who did? I looked at Paul. He nodded. I don't know, I said. But check his correspondence with Jenna Whitmore. She was threatening him. He told me she had things on him. Blackmail material. He wanted out. Santos wrote that down. You're saying your wife killed him? I'm saying she had motive. She was using him. When he tried to leave, she probably couldn't allow it. That's convenient. It's the truth. Santos stood. Don't leave town. We'll be in touch. Outside the station, Paul grabbed my shoulder. Tell me you didn't do this. I didn't. Because if you did, Paul, I swear, I left him alive. Whatever happened after, I wasn't there. He searched my face. Okay, but you're the primary suspect. We need to be prepared for them to come back with an arrest warrant. What do I do? You stay quiet, stay available, and you let me handle this. I drove home in a daze. Grant was dead, Jenna was missing, and I was suddenly the prime suspect in a murder investigation. This was the revenge I'd wanted, to destroy them both, to make them hurt. But not like this. Never like this. I poured myself a drink and tried to think. Grant had blood on him Sunday night. Fresh blood. He'd set up the meeting, lured me there, made sure I was on camera. Why? Because he knew something was coming. He knew Jenna was dangerous, and he'd tried to drag me down with him as insurance. My phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. Parking garage. Level 3. Now. Come alone. Different garage. Different part of town. I grabbed my keys. This garage was older, darker. Level 3 was nearly empty. One car sat in the center, Jenna's Prius. I parked and got out. Walked toward it slowly. Jenna was in the driver's seat, staring straight ahead. I knocked on the window. She didn't move. I opened the door. She looked at me finally. Her eyes were red. He was going to ruin everything, she said. Jenna, Grant, he was going to tell them about the money, about my accounts, about everything. I couldn't let that happen. My heart was pounding. What did you do? I went to talk to him. Monday night, after he met with you. I just wanted to scare him, make him understand he needed to keep quiet. Jenna stopped talking, but he laughed at me, said I was pathetic, that he was done being my puppet, so I pushed him, just pushed him. But we were at the top of the stairs and he fell and, stop! I pulled out my phone. What are you doing? Calling the police. She lunged for the phone. I stepped back. Cole, please, it was an accident. You let them think I did it. I panicked. I didn't know what to do. You ran, you hid. You let me take the blame for your crime. She was crying now. Real tears. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please, we can fix this. We can say we were together, that we're working things out. No. I dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? I'm with Jenna Whitmore. She just confessed to killing Grant Bishop. Jenna's face went white. She started the car. Don't, I said. She put it in reverse. I stepped aside as she peeled out, tires screaming. The 911 operator was asking questions, but I couldn't focus. Jenna was gone. I gave them the garage location, my name, everything. Then I sat down on the concrete and waited. They found her an hour later. She'd driven to the harbor, parked at the edge, and just sat there. When the police arrived, she surrendered without a fight. Detective Santos called me that night. She confessed, he said. Full statement. You're clear. What about the settlement? Your divorce? That's civil court. Murder supersedes everything. You'll have to work that out separately, but Realistically, she's going away for a long time. I hung up and stared at the wall. I'd wanted revenge. Wanted Jenna to lose everything. Her money, her reputation, her freedom. Wanted her to understand what she'd done to me. I got all of that, but the victory felt like ash. The divorce was finalized 3 months later. Jenna signed the papers from county jail, awaiting trial. I got everything. The assets, the apartment, clean break. She didn't fight it. Couldn't fight it. Grant's family tried to sue me for wrongful death, claiming my harassment drove him to desperation. The case went nowhere. No evidence, no standing. I sold the apartment, paid off my debts, moved to a new city, started over. Some nights I thought about that parking garage, about Grant's desperate face, about Jenna's tears, about the moment everything broke beyond repair. I'd won, completely and totally, but winning felt a lot like losing. I'd destroyed them both, and in the process, I'd destroyed the person I used to be, the guy who believed in love, in trust, in second chances. That guy was gone, dead as Grant Bishop. All that remained was me, Cole Mercer, clever and strategic and completely alone, sitting in the ruins of my revenge.